Are you ready to delve into the nuanced strategies of power? Max Sterling here with a compelling exploration of the fine balance between ruthlessness and benevolence in the pursuit of leadership. If you've ever wondered how to navigate the turbulent waters of control and influence, this video will uncover the timeless tactics that could change your game. Imagine unlocking the secrets that have shaped the destinies of nations. Leadership and power, a complex dance between the tenacity of the lion and the cunning of the fox. To grasp and maintain control is to maneuver through a labyrinth of human psychology and astute governance. Let's traverse the pathway blazed by history's masterminds and decode the principles that determine who rises to the top and who falls. Understanding the dynamics of newly acquired states, whether by inheritance or conquest, reveals that each scenario demands a tailored approach. Historical giants like Alexander the Great demonstrated the profound reliance on exemplary leadership and hands-on management. Only through stark resolve and an unwavering presence can one cement their foothold amidst foreign customs and skeptical citizens. The tale of leadership is incomplete without addressing the tools of coercion and allure. A wise ruler perceives the importance of dispensing benefits gradually while deploying assertive action swiftly to quell opposition. It is in this delicate balance that the prince secures the allegiance of the populace without arousing deep-seated enmity. Consider the weight of a military's loyalty. Historical scenarios underscore the perils of relying on external powers for defense. Whether examining the prowess of Hiero the Syracusan or dissecting the tactical acumen of the Romans, one conclusion stands: true sovereignty is buttressed by a leader's intrinsic resolve, not by borrowed might. In the labyrinth of power, visibility is key. A wise ruler ensures he is not merely a figurehead but the operational core, palpably influencing every segment of his rule. It is this constancy, this perpetual engagement, that steers the ship through both calm and troubled waters. Now, let me pose a central inquiry. How will you apply these insights to your aspirations? What newfound principles will you anchor into your endeavors? If your curiosity is as relentless as mine, join this journey by subscribing. Together, we'll forge a legacy worthy of the chronicles of history. Returning to the dichotomy of fear and love, Machiavellian wisdom advocates for instilling a disciplined fear while eschewing hatred. The astute prince wields his authority to elicit obedience, reserving force for necessity and safeguarding the property and prosperity of his subjects. This strategic narrative culminates in the revelation that being loved can be fleeting, a luxury anchored in prosperity, but fear is a perpetual sentinel, retaining loyalty in adversity. So, we navigate the intricate terrain of leadership, bearing the insight that power is honed by mastering both human nature and the art of statecraft. To sustain and elevate our discourse on this powerful journey, support can manifest in myriad ways. Should you deem these insights invaluable, consider expressing your appreciation proportionately. The link lies in the description below. Join us next time as we continue to decode strategies, cultivate wisdom, and construct the empire within. Stay formidable, stay astute until our paths converge again. Greetings, astute viewers. Today, we delve into a treacherous yet intriguing territory, decoding strategies of power and survival. Hold tight as we expose the harsh truths of societal machinations painted vividly in our exploration of Machiavelli's wisdom. If you've ever been curious about the mechanics behind power plays and societal manipulation, you're in for a vigorous intellectual exercise. Machiavelli once depicted a stark contrast between our often idealistic view of human behavior and the rugged landscape of real-world actions. This Renaissance thinker did not mince words when he emphasized the importance of dealing with the world as it is, not as we wish it were. It's time we confront harsh, inconvenient truths that hide behind the veneer of social norms. Let's take the modern digital age, where our higher pursuits are incessantly bombarded with celebrity gossip and clickbait. While we know we should be enriching our minds, what reels us in are the indulgent diversions of the internet. Here, Machiavelli sharply points out the gulf between high culture and mass appeal. Should those driving online content feed audiences with classic literature or satiate their appetite with alluring trivialities? Pure, sellable entertainment wins the clicks and the cash, it seems. This raw reality extends beyond the screens into the world of politics and corporate power struggles. The noble ideal of the honest politician or benevolent business leader belies the actual cutthroat undercurrents of the arena. According to Machiavelli, those who maintain unblemished virtue risk being overwhelmed by those who readily don their moral armor only when it serves them. Consider, for instance, the perception of infallible philanthropists. While we admire their outward generosity, we often overlook the ruthless business tactics that paved their way to affluence. Machiavelli illuminates the necessity for strength and sometimes calculated cruelty in securing victory, echoing that those who mean to do us harm must be rendered incapable of retaliation. This leads us to the cunning power brokers who manipulate perception. The story of Cesare Borgia dissolves any naive belief that meritocracy rules. Instead, it's a grim reminder of the realpolitik employed through the ages, where scapegoats take the fall and those at the helm indulge in the fruits of strategic ruthlessness. Now, you, my discerning viewers, are bound to notice the dissonance between crass marketing ploys and sincere craftsmanship. Ever the master of appearances, the clever businessman directs any discontent at the nebulous others in his employ while masquerading as the well-meaning architect oblivious to the deceptive sales tactics being deployed under his brand. So, armed with an understanding of these Machiavellian insights, what's your move? Will you shun this knowledge, or will you wield it judiciously as you navigate through life's chessboard? It's imperative to understand that knowledge, devoid of ethical judgment, merely equips us with choice, the choice to apply it in enhancing our integrity or as a tool for personal gain. While Machiavellian tactics may be potent, they are not the guiding star for those who value genuine connections and a clear conscience. Remember, living with Machiavellian principles could secure your fortress, but it would imprison your soul in a life devoid of authentic warmth. No, we shall not succumb to a life dictated entirely by fear and manipulation. Yet, we shall not naively walk into the fray without armor either. Braced with keen awareness, we can navigate through devious waters without losing sight of our true north. If what we've unraveled today stirs the strategist in you, just hit the subscribe button, and let's continue this journey of enlightenment. Your expanding horizons are the true prize for keeping pace with us. What strategies from today's exploration strike you as most impactful? Take a moment after this video to reflect on how you might apply or defend against these ancient yet ever-pertinent tactics in your life. And should the value of these revelations resonate deeply, feel free to show appreciation with a tip reflecting the worth they've added to your endeavors. Your investment fuels our continued quest for wisdom. Now go forth, wield these insights with discernment, embrace your power, and conquer the day with the subtlety of a sage and the strength of a sovereign. Greetings, esteemed viewers. Today we dive into the fascinating tale of Narcissus, whose ancient story remarkably parallels the psychological predicament of the modern ego's plight. Stay tuned as we unravel how this myth mirrors the insatiable quest for identity and the ego's incessant desire for superiority, and the transformative awakening that lies beyond its grasp. Discover insights that could alter your life narrative and elevate your understanding of self. If you march on with me to the end, not only will you gain profound wisdom but also actionable strategies to combat the trappings of the ego. In the annals of time, Narcissus stood as a beacon of beauty in ancient Greece. The spark of his story ignited long before the existence of reflective surfaces. Living in a world devoid of mirrors and the concept of selfies, Narcissus had never encountered his own visage. However, upon gazing into the serene waters of a pool, he chanced upon his reflection, spiraling into a deep obsession, not with himself, but rather with the image he perceived. As the myth circuitously informs us, from that moment on, his life veered onto a path of discontent. Myths, as this one astutely suggests, often carry within them profound truths about human nature. The myth of Narcissus speaks to the birth of the human ego, a phantom self that commandeers our identity with persistent narratives and comparisons. This ego revels in attachments to the material world. A child's toy car or the prestige of owning a luxurious vehicle like a Rolls-Royce are but facades that the ego wields to construct a fragile identity. This sense of self, however, is an illusion, a comparative venture that yearns for superiority and constantly grapples with an underlying sense of inadequacy. We are compelled, as sentient beings, to find our identity. This quest emerges almost naturally after our fundamental needs are met. Yet the ironic twist is that the very identity we seize upon, through possessions or personal narratives, is what ultimately leads us astray. This insurmountable need to possess, to attach to items that elevate our sense of self, is the ego's doing. Imagine for a moment a peculiar twist of fate where every adult is bestowed with the same Rolls-Royce upon reaching a milestone age. Suddenly, this symbol of status loses its luster, its ability to enhance identity vaporizes because it becomes the norm, not the exception. The ego's pursuit of individual superiority through material gains is thus rendered impotent. This insight reveals the ego's need to feel distinct, to compare and to relentlessly seek a certain supremacy over others, often leading to a persistent unease, a gnawing feeling of not enough. The narratives we construct in our minds about our lives are often echoed by the peculiar concept of having a relationship with oneself. It's quite a conundrum, isn't it? To either harbor love or disdain for oneself is to experience a division within. The real question is, who is the entity within that loves or hates its constructed image? Let's contrast this human experience with that of a dog. Devoid of the burden of ego, the dog is unencumbered by vanity or self-worth. It simply is. Animals, by not embodying this self-imposed weight, tend to lead more contented lives than humans. The teachings of the Buddha intimate this notion, urging us to recognize the illusory nature of the ego, of the self. It is but a construction of thoughts erroneously accepted as our identity. Awakening, therefore, begins with the recognition that the perpetual stream of thoughts and emotions do not define us. It is likened to a ripple on the ocean's surface that recognizes its connectivity to the vast depths below. This awareness is not about the ruminations of personal history or future aspirations. It's about realizing a presence that transcends thought, a conscious presence that is the foundation of perception and cognition. This realm of stillness and life teems beneath the surface of our chatter-filled minds. Realizing that one is not the thoughts that fleetingly cross their consciousness marks the initial step to awakening, a profound moment of stepping back and witnessing. The essential nature of our being is this conscious awareness, a dimension unperturbed by the ego's drama. Let us take a lesson from the ancient teachings and various spiritual leaders who, across epochs, have all pointed to the realization of the transcendent dimension of our existence. Buddha's concept of shunyata, often translated as emptiness or more fittingly as spaciousness, and Jesus' kingdom of heaven both allude to a domain of consciousness that cannot be concretely pinpointed. It is a space within that embodies the essence of existence. This inward kingdom is not of a location that can be shown or time-stamped. Instead, it is within you, an intrinsic part of your very essence. It's a realization that your identity is interwoven with a larger tapestry of the universe. When you come to this profound understanding, it is essentially the universe coming into a realization of itself through you. Now, viewers, let's pause for a moment to reflect on what we've discussed. It's crucial to recognize the immense effort that goes into identifying the undercurrents of our own ego and the narratives that bind us. If you find these insights helpful, I encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel, and hit the notification bell to empower yourself with more enlightening content that might just reshape your perception of reality. As we continue, it's important to remember this isn't just about intellectual understanding.